Hey, it's Laura Hanson. What way are you living your life? If I were to ask you, what is your game plan? As if life was a game, because it's kind of easy to think about it that way. If life were a game, how would you describe your game plan, your strategy to somebody else? Is it a very active role? Is it a passive role? Would you say that you're fully engaged, or maybe sitting back, kind of going through the motions? Would you describe yourself as empowered and courageous, or disempowered and, a little bit reserved because you're held back by either fears or worries or doubt, insecurity, anything like that? I'm asking because I came across high performance coaching at a time in my life when I was going through extreme uncertainty, extreme lack of control, and it forced me to say, what am I even doing in life? And I had to realize that whatever it was that I was doing, number one, I couldn't define it, but number two, I had to realize there had to be a better way than what I was doing. So, thankfully, I came across high performance coaching, something that I didn't even know life coaching in general was a thing, nonetheless, high performance coaching. And maybe you're in that boat, or maybe you already are very familiar with coaching. Maybe you even have come across Brendon Burchard's book, High Performance Habits, and that's what's drawing you in to learn more about the actual coaching program that goes along with that. And if so, that's awesome. I'm so glad you're here. So I decided to create this simple framework, and it's easy to remember. L.I.F.E, L-I-F-E, because that's what we're living and that's what we're here to talk about. So the first point to talk about is that L, and this describes high performance in a nutshell. I could stop here, but I'll give you more than that because I like to add in that bonus. All right, the L is for level up. Leveling up can mean different things for different people. Sometimes leveling up means simply, hey, I want to advance in my career. I want to take my relationships to the next level. I want to get a promotion. I want to generate more revenue. It can be a variety of things, and it changes person to person, which is another good point too, because coaching is not a molding system. Coaching is a development system. It's a way of bringing the coach and client together to work on what the client views as most important in their life, right? It's not about the coach, it's about the client. So when people want to level up in those areas, their finances, their relationships, or their career, their mission, whatever it may be, maybe it's their health, then we can look at it in various different ways, right? We can look at it from, okay, this is where you are now, and this is clearly where you want to go, and what are we going to have to do to get there? There's a whole other side of leveling up, though, that has to do with that awareness, that understanding, which is really leveling up perspectives. So the best way I can describe this for you is by telling you about a time when I used to live in Chicago. Now, if you're walking down the streets of Chicago or any busy city, any major metropolitan city, then you can't see very far because there's buildings everywhere from that ground level. So you're walking down the street, you can see what you can see. You might be able to see off into the distance, but you're very limited by your perspective there. Now, if you have been to Chicago, you've probably heard of the John Hancock building, and it's 98 stories high. If not, it might even be higher, but I think the 98th floor is where people love to take that elevator up so that they can see not only the entire city, they can see the lake, they can just see for miles and miles and miles, and the view from up there is incredible. Now, many people get on that elevator for different reasons, and they show up as themselves as they get onto that elevator. So tying that back to coaching, the high performance framework is like that elevator, right? So people show up and get involved in high performance frameworks with their different personalities, their different characters, their different missions, their different objectives, right? So high performance coaching helps take somebody up to that high level so that they can see things more clearly. They can see further into the future. They can see into the distance. They can have the perspective change of what it was like to be below and what it was, or on the ground level, and then what it's like way up here. And then the journey is just that elevator ride up. So many people go up there for different reasons, and it's the same with life. You know, you might be somebody that just wants to hang out and say, wow, look what I did, look where I am now. Or maybe you are somebody who wants to write, or wants to create, wants to coach, wants to speak. There's many different reasons why people love gaining different perspectives. And so leveling up is truly one of my favorite parts, one of my favorite benefits of high performance coaching, because you're leveling up your human self, meaning those tangible areas of your life, but you're also leveling up in your awareness at the same time. And it's fascinating because that is where you get that holistic growth with a person. So the second thing, the I, this is the intentional living. Now, this is the pre-framing of all that you're doing, and it comes down to the way that you're thinking. So many people say, you know, I didn't think that, you know, I was going to stay in this job forever, but I'm here and it's just the way it is. And I start asking them how that happened. And they're like, I don't really know. And that tells me they haven't been intentional with what they're doing, with what they're deciding, with where they're headed. Other people, maybe in a relationship context, will say, I didn't want it to end up like this. I didn't want, you know, I just wanted it to be, everything to be good. And I don't know how it turned out so bad. And so I start exploring with them, you know, what is it that you did to put in the work? Because there is a huge difference in what we want and how we intend things to happen. So we can want things to turn out great, but if we don't intend for them to turn out great, meaning we are not preparing ourselves and setting ourselves up for them to turn out great, then chances are they won't turn out great. They won't turn out or produce the results that we want them to. So intentional living is so much about, okay, how can I think about the way I want to show up and what I want to take away from this encounter. So many people will go through life saying, I wanted to feel like I belonged. And this is something I struggle with. I wanted to feel like I belonged. And when I looked at my life through the lens of high performance coaching, I noticed that I was just walking around life expecting people to accept me, expecting people to embrace me. And I wasn't doing anything to invite this in. So being intentional changed the way I approached conversations. It changed the way that I communicated with people. And as a result, I now feel this next level, which I'm going to get right into, and that's F, the fulfillment. The fulfillment is that feeling that you feel whole. You feel like life makes sense. You feel like this is something I'm enjoying doing. And you can get that consistently through coaching. It's something that my coaches have helped me with by reminding me of the journey I've been on. And that's been huge for me because I was somebody that was so fast-paced. People called me a hard charger, and I would just be moving so quickly and get so tied up in the grind, just being gritty, just trying to go after more, that I wouldn't stop to look at my progress. I wouldn't pause to celebrate my wins. But now I've got this practice, this habit, if you will, of every single day going back through my day mentally just to remember all of the things that I have done, all of the things that I've accomplished and achieved. And even that one habit, which you're welcome to adopt if you'd like, but that one habit has helped me realize and helped me find fulfillment in every single day. And all of that stacks and builds and compounds on itself, so that my entire life moving forward, my weeks, my months, my years, I feel fulfilled. I feel like this life is purposeful. I get that sense of satisfaction from living life, which is the greatest feeling to me, because that is what makes my heart feel complete. That's what makes my heart feel whole. So the E, I'm sure you're wondering about the E. The E is almost so obvious because of what I am bringing to you right now. The E is high performance coaching, helps you feel energized. And I'm not saying this is something where you're dialing in your nutrition, although you can if that's what you're into. Energy is so much deeper than that. And when you feel good, you feel that enjoyment in life. It's easier to feel that fulfilled. It's easier to put in the work to level up. It's easier to put in the work of being intentional when you have the energy. Now, there's so many things that prevent people from feeling energized. And so much of that is simply the way that they're thinking, because their thinking is guiding what their behaviors are. It's guiding them into the pantry. It's guiding them into maybe too much time on the couch, or it's guiding them into just feeling stressed and overwhelmed and shutting down, rather than doing all those things that they had ambition to do. They say, I can't do that. I don't feel good right now. You know what I'm talking about. I have been there so many times. I can't work on this project right now. I don't have the energy for it. And so many times we realize it's the mental energy that we're lacking. So coaching completely shifted my experience with mental energy. In fact, I didn't even understand how to manage my mental energy before I came across high performance coaching. But what I learned was that when I am clear about what I want to feel, I can simply generate those feelings. I can show up into the world with consistency, and that consistency becomes a gift for other people. What I mean by that is, how do you feel when other people around you are down? Do you feel creative? Do you feel motivated and alive? Do you feel like you're enjoying life when you're around a bunch of people that are sulking and just there? No, right? And I know you don't like to feel that way either. You want to feel engaged. You want to feel excited. You want to have fun in life, right? You want to bring back those levels of joy into your every single day. And you know that you don't have to wait for them, but maybe you don't know how to create it within you. And that's the benefit of coaching, because coaching will show you how to bring that, and the coach works with you and will call you out if you just look like you're going through the motions. Because when you go through the motions, it's usually a sign that the energy that you need isn't quite there. So this is what I have for you. It's how to live the high performance life, and how high performance living is a system to guide you to full engagement, to have the most fun in this life. You can still have all those things that you're responsible for. You can still have meaningful relationships. You can still have joy. All of this is possible for you. There's just a better way of doing it when it's intentional, when you are focusing on leveling up, when you are feeling fulfilled, you're motivated, you're centered, you're energized, and you're loving life. So high performance coaching, if this is something that you are ready for, if you don't already have a system that you're working, I highly recommend high performance coaching. If you would like to coach with me, fill out an application on my website. I look at them at a first come, first serve basis. So make sure you get that application in, because I'm only taking so many clients per quarter. So fill out that application, work with me, and improve your life. All right, take care, my friend.